one of India's major airlines, Indigo is facing one of its most severe operational breakdowns in recent years, leaving thousands of passengers stranded across the country. Over the last several days, the airline has cancelled an unprecedented number of flights because of a combination of factors, including crew shortages, the newly enforced flight duty time limitations rules or the FDTL rules, winter congestion, weather-related disruptions, and what the aviation regulator has now described as poor internal planning. What began as scattered delays earlier in the week escalated rapidly into a nationwide crisis. Between December 2nd and 4th, Indigo cancelled hundreds of flights, and by today, the situation has worsened significantly. Delhi Airport announced that all domestic Indigo flights would remain cancelled till midnight, while Mumbai, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Chennai, Kolkata, and Goa also reported widespread disruptions. In just the last 48 hours, more than 1,300 flights were cancelled, marking the airline's highest single-day cancellation numbers so far. Indigo, which typically operates over 2,200 flights a day, saw its network severely impacted. Indigo has attributed the crisis to the full enforcement of the revised FDTL norms, which India's aviation regulator, the DGCA, introduced to combat pilot fatigue and improve overall safety standards. These rules regulate how long pilots can be on duty, how many hours they can fly, the number of consecutive night shifts they can undertake, and the minimum rest they must receive. The norms were implemented in phases and became fully active on November 1st, 2025. Once applied, the new rules immediately exposed gaps in crew availability. Night duties are now restricted to 2 consecutive nights with a limit of 2 night landings per week. Basic flight time during night operations cannot exceed 8 hours, and daytime flying has been capped at 10 hours, with a 13-hour limit for 2 crew operations. Any extensions require mandatory compensatory rest, and pilots must now receive a weekly rest period of 48 hours. The DGCA has also made quarterly fatigue reporting compulsory and redefined night as a period between midnight and 6 am. Pilot associations argue that airlines, including Indigo, were given sufficient notice but continued planning ambitious winter schedules without securing enough crew to operate them. The DGCA, after meeting Indigo officials, stated that the disruptions largely stemmed from internal miscalculations and scheduling lapses. The combination of peak season traffic, harsh winter conditions, and the stricter FDTL framework created a perfect storm for operational instability. The impact has been felt across the country. Delhi saw around 225 cancellations today alone, while Mumbai recorded more than 100 cancellations by evening, and significant disruptions were reported in Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Chennai, and Goa. Indigo has warned that the situation may take until December 8th to stabilize. Meanwhile, the DGCA has launched inspections at major airports and placed Indigo's operations under heightened scrutiny. The mass cancellations have triggered a sharp rise in airfares across competing airlines. With thousands of passengers scrambling for alternate options, ticket prices surged dramatically. Several SpiceJet flights were reportedly selling for Rs 80,000 on routes that typically cost between Rs 5,000 and 12,000, while multi-stop Air India itineraries on certain routes were priced between Rs 70,000 and 90,000. This sudden spike has raised concerns of opportunistic pricing at a time of crisis. Indigo has issued an apology, acknowledging the acute constraints it is facing and said it is working to restore normal operations. However, with the new duty time limitations now firmly in place and the winter travel season still underway, the airline is likely to face continued pressure in the coming days.